Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh, Shemal, Shabbat, Shalom, Kakadash, and Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. Entitled this video, Prophecies Coming to Pass Before Your Eyes. Anyway, I'm going to be all and other topics. I'll go into other things. I'll jump around. I don't have one particular topic, but I want to hit on these prophetic articles here. Anyway, I'm going to open with this. You see before you this video, Endeavor, half homeless, living in cars, poverty in the USA, Endeavor documentary. And this was put up 2 days ago. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let me subscribe to it. Anyway, I'm watching this, and it's nothing but Edomites. The first story, this is an Edomite man. He works at Disney down in Florida. And look at this bullshit. Hold up. Okay, this is they living in a hotel. I think he works, his wife works, his son works, and his daughter goes to school. And you can see they're portly as hell. Because when you're when you're depressed, you like to eat a lot of carbs. Anybody that's real fat, real portly, they had problems maybe in their childhood, maybe something happened, something traumatic happened to them. So food is a drug. So anyway, he's in a hotel. Let me do this. In the daytime, he's yeah, she's cooking. Wait a minute. She's cooking burgers. Right next to the sink. Wait. Right, she's in the bathroom cooking burgers. Anyway, let me come over here. Yeah, when you watch this, he's working at Disney. He's a greeter, and I believe he makes $8 and something. But he started 2 years ago, I think it was. He was making 7 something. So in 2 years, he only went up. They gave him a raise of $8. So, he can't buy a house. He lost his house, as a matter of fact. He used to have a good job. He was a manager. So these are Edomites, or what appear to be Edomites. He's on the bus. He doesn't have a car. Come over here. I don't know if this video is featuring. Just Edomites. I only watched maybe the first 8 minutes of the video. So I said, let me speak on this. There's another damn commercial. And so I thought of certain precepts, which I'm going to go into. Okay, so I went to first precept that came to mind was Deuteronomy 30, verse 7, but I read up above that. See, as we come up, our enemies are going down, and the number one enemy that's going to go down are you Edomites. So let me come back. Okay, let me come back one more. Deuteronomy 30, restoration promise. Now, when this was being written during the time of Moses and the children of Israel in the wilderness, matter of fact, Moses was a prophet, because a lot of the scriptures. Give me a second here. Give me a second. Forgive me for that. Forgive me for that. Anyway, Deuteronomy 30 verse Deuteronomy chapter 30, restoration promise. And like I said, they didn't know that we would have to wait this long to be restored. So the fulfillment of Deuteronomy 30 is now what we're going through right now. We're beginning to be blessed. So I'm going to start from the first verse. I'm not going to read the whole chapter. I may jump around. It says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the cursings, and the hardcore slavery, going in slave ships, yokes of iron on our neck, even the curses today, being pulled over by the police, the things that we go through. You go to a store, you got the store guard walking around watching your ass. You got to kind of know your lane, so to speak, in certain areas where the majority of the people are Edomites. So you gotta know your lane, so to speak. So you're still under the curses. We're not under blessings. Blessings. When you look up the word blessings, Barak, it means for somebody to bow down to you. So Floyd Mayweather is not blessed. Michael Jordan is not blessed. They're doing good. They're rich, but they're not blessed. When somebody bows down to you, you know who are blessed? The small hats. I'm talking about the elite of the small hats and the elite, because Kyrie and well, really Kyrie, he was used as an example of staying in his lane. You notice he ain't saying too much no more. He knows his place, man. It says, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither Yahweh thy power have driven thee, under the Moabites, under the Ammonites, under the Babylonians, under the Assyrians, under the Medo-Persians, under the Greeks, and under Rome, under this society right now. And all those nations that we went under, we knew who we were. We kept our names. Well, Babylonian Empire changed the names, but we knew that we were Israelites, and we knew to keep the laws. The only two captivities this captivity, the main one, they made sure we didn't know who we were. So now there's a great remembering, a great awakening. The fulfillment of Ezekiel chapter 37, one of my favorite chapters. Now, and the other time was during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, where he forced, but there were still Israelites that said, we're going to be Israelites, but there were others that said, no, we want to live, so we're going to teach our children that they're Greeks. And they shall return unto the Lord thy power, and that's talking about now, and shall obey his voice according to getting order. Start learning the scriptures, build yourself in this truth, and even become teachers. To all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart. And see, you can't just be a part-time prophet of the Lord. You got to do this every day. There's certain days where I don't have a topic and I might just go into a breakdown. The other day I didn't really have a topic, and I went into Jeremiah 51. I read 18 verses. It wasn't a long video, but that was up there for anybody to come across that video if they wanted to get an understanding of Jeremiah 51. If they ran into a Christian that quoted part of Jeremiah 51, they know how to deal with it. And then you can always say, well, what's the rest of it? What's the 19th verse to the end? What is that all about? That will either be for me or somebody else to do a breakdown. I like to do those breakdowns. Because you know what I find out? A lot of brothers out there, they'll hit precepts, which is good, precept upon precept. But sometimes the Christian will say, well, read the 2 verses above that. And then they kind of get stuck. I've seen that before. It says, with all thy heart and with all thy soul. And that's why they call us a cult, because we're all on the streets, we're all over the place. There's different groups. The One West is the main group that other groups stem from. Well, that's a fulfillment of, like I said, Ezekiel chapter 37. And that's the same thing that happened during the reign of Claudius Caesar. He banished the Israelites, the Christians, and the Jews, mainly the Christians. The Christians, we are the real Christians, by the way. We are Israelites that accepted the Messiah. That's the difference between a Jew 2,000 years ago and a Christian. You couldn't be of another nation and be a Christian, nor a Jew or Israelite. It says that then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity. So are we still under this man's captivity? You got damn right. It tells you that in Baruch, the second chapter. Matter of fact, let me go to that. I might not go to it, but I'll just quote it. I'm not going to go to it because I got to open up another tab. It's no big deal, but it's Baruch 2, verse 30. I knew that they will not hear me because this is a stiff-necked people in the land of their captivities. They should remember themselves. So what captivity are we in? This current captivity. Yeah, but what about if you're in Jamaica? You're under the captivity of Esau. Okay, Bishop Nathaniel did a video, I think it was Saturday. I believe it was Saturday. And they were going, and we did videos like that in the past where we put in how many U.S. military bases are around the world. When we did it years ago, they said there was about 800. In the IUIC, the class that they did, they said, I believe it was 750 military bases around the world. Anytime you have a military base in another country, you are the occupier. That's called an occupation, meaning you run that place. You ain't gonna see no Japanese military base in America because they're not occupying this place. Like the Romans, when the Romans took over Palestine, what was that called? An occupation. That then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee. And that's talking about our children, our foreparents, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our mothers, our great grandparents. So this nonsense about going to hell, ain't not one Israelite is going to burn in hell because there's no such thing as a everlasting hell. Even Esau is not going to burn for hell. It says, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy power hath scattered thee. So we were scattered. ISUPK, they say, run into somebody, well, where are you from? Where you born? I was born in Nigeria. Well, you can't be in this. You're a Hamite. No. You got Israelites. Where do you think they got the slave from? They got them from West Africa. It was called what was it called? Not the transatlantic slave trade, but the transatlantic, I believe it was this transatlantic something trade, because it consisted of slaves. They were coming out of Western Europe, England, places like that, Portugal, and they would go down into Africa. They would have things to give to the so-called Africans, get other Africans, which were Israelites. Israelites were selling each other, and then they would get the slaves, and they would bring them to America. Then they would get other raw material from America to bring it back to places like England and Spain and so. But mainly it was coming out of England, but Spain was involved in it too. It really started with Spain. They started enslaving Jake and so forth. So that, when you go into this book, And you read Deuteronomy 28 chapter, it fits this to a T. It says, and if any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost part of heaven, meaning what? The other side of the earth. Where are we now? We're on the uttermost side of the earth. We're in the Western hemisphere, but we're still scattered throughout the nations around the world. Literally. So you're going to have Israelites looking like Moabites, looking like Filipinos, looking like Ammonites, looking like Arabs. You got Arabs in the Arab world, in the Middle East. They're black, dark skin, Negro features, and woolly hair, but they're Arabs. They'll speak straight up Arabic to you. It says, if any, so when somebody says, oh, the Lord, because now no one accepts the fact that Jesus, so-called Jesus, was a white man. That's played out, man. But people will say, well, he wasn't black, he was Middle Eastern. Well, guess what color the original Middle Easterns were? Middle Eastern people were, the Ishmaelites. Ishmael had 12 sons. One of his sons was called Qadar, which means dark, because he was most likely darker than the rest of his 11 brothers. And they had froze too. I've seen Arabs with afros, with woolly hair, with Negro features. So we're coming out of everywhere. But the first to come out of this and be delivered are the elect of the Israelites. You got these groups trying to wake up all Israel. It ain't about waking. The Most High is not coming to save all Israel. He's only coming to save the elect. He's going to destroy. Well, a lot of them are going to be in these other places. Like you have the IUIC, they breaking ground in Spain, which, they're doing the work. I'm not going to knock them on that. But we would never do that because Spain is going to be intact for the most part. It's not going to be utterly destroyed. And by the way, salvation is coming to the ones that's going to be saved from the destruction. So the salvation is going to come out of where? Out of America. And then the Most High, the Lord, rather, and the angels are going to go around the world, and they're going to save other elect that are scattered in other places that might not necessarily be hit by missiles. But the salvation is talking about this place being destroyed. We're going to be saved ultimately from this destruction. The place where the worm dieth not. The place where the worm dieth not and the fire is not quenched is talking about Babylon the Great, the day that the Most High brings judgment. That's the place where the worm dieth not and the fire is not quenched, because there's not a fire station big enough to put out a fire in America. It says that then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee. The scripture says also in Baruch, I believe it's Baruch 4, it says, and seek him 10 times more. So it's been, we can say for some of us 2,000 years that we didn't know the Lord, and some longer than that. So when you read Matthew 25, it says there was at midnight, I believe it's the word midnight, there was a great cry heard. And that great cry was us telling people on the streets and on YouTube and on whatever that you're the Israelites. And the only ones that's going to take heed to it are the elect. And the Most High is going to make, if you're one of the elect, you will run into one of these videos. You will run into some brothers speaking on the street. You would maybe be a Christian and maybe watch Vocab Malone, and he's getting on the Israelites, and you're intrigued by it. And then all of a sudden you say, man, that makes sense. I am an Israelite. And you got guys in the Christian community that say that they're Israelites. They're still Christians, but they know ethnically their line goes back to the Israelites. There's a couple of people that said that in the Christian community. So if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, hey, you don't get it. If you're not of the elect and you're in America, you're going to be destroyed, but then you're going to come back through us. It says, from all the nations, whither the Lord, that's Isaiah 11, the Lord, thy power, Yahweh, thy power has scattered thee. If any of thine or yours be driven out unto the utmost part of the earth, and we were through transatlantic, the transatlantic trade or the transatlantic slave trade, we were driven out. Isaiah says like a ball to a large country. It says, fourth verse again, if any of thine be driven out unto the utmost part of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. So how are we being fetched? How are we being gathered? Through the word, through the men that woke up and went out on the highways and the byways and did the YouTube videos. And Esau can't stop it. Can't stop this, man. Vocab, you can't stop this. There's too many of us teaching. And we don't care about the ones that don't make it. We're not trying to save the ones that are following vocab alone. We can care less about them. Now, if any of them come out of that, then that's good. They most likely would be a part of the elect. It says, "In the Lord, thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed." So now a lot of guys, a lot of men and women, they followed the GOCC, and he said, we got to flee out of here. And that was during the time, I believe it was the H1N1, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so we got to get out of here, man, because, we're going to be destroyed. We got to go to Egypt, then we got to go to Israel. And a lot of them went out there on their own, and they got stuck out. They ran out of money, and they got stuck out there. So he no longer teaches that. And those people found a way, I guess, back to America. But had they known the scriptures, they would have brought this scripture up. The fifth verse, Deuteronomy 30, verse 5. And Yahweh thy power will bring thee, and Yahweh thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed. What land do we possess? Which is currently called Israel. And thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thy seed above thy fathers. And that's talking about the kingdom. The fifth verse is talking about the kingdom. And we're going to have servants too. We're going to have slaves. And the Lord thy power will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, thy children, because we're going to have children, because the kingdom is going to be on the earth. To love thy power, Yahweh, thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul, and that thou mayest live. And where we're going to be living? In the kingdom. And we're going to be blessed, meaning people, other nations will bow down to us. And we're going to beat these nations down too. Because Esau is going to fight. When the Most High delivers us up, the hopeful elect, up, simultaneously the missiles are going to come and the lasers of the ships are going to come and destroy this place. This whole, was it 5,000 square miles shall be on fire. So when we come back down, and by the way, we're going to get a ringside seat, to that destruction, because we're going to be hovering right over. We're going to be hovering right over this place when it gets destroyed. That's in Revelation chapter 11. It's also in Psalm 91. Only with thine eyes shall thou see and behold the reward of the wicked. 1,000 shall fall at thy right hand and 10,000 at thy left. Only with thine eyes shall thou see and behold the reward of the wicked. And who the wicked are? You Edomites, number one, then the other nations, and then you got wicked Israelites. So they're going to be destroyed. And that's the lake of fire, Revelation 15. They were above the firmament, and he looked down and a sea of glass. That sea of glass is talking about America. We're going to witness the destruction. So that's a part of the prophecies too. And it says we're going to be affrighted and we're going to give glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. So we came over here in slave ships, and we're going to leave in a majestic way in our mother in our father ships, chariots. It says, "And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee." So Esau can't get out of it. They'll use excuses like, "Oh, that was our foreparents." Well, guess what? There's a thing called reincarnation. You might have did the right thing in this life, but what did you do in your previous lives? Oh, there's a video I was watching. Let me do this. See if I can find it. Okay, yeah, I hope you can see this. I'm not going to click on it. Matter of fact, I will click on it. This is now check this out. And this was put up. Well, this was a day ago. Law and Crime Network. It said murder suicides, meaning you got a guy, he loses his job, he's all depressed, he wants to kill himself, but he wants to take his family with him. So he'll get up 4 in the morning, pop his wife in the head, pop his children, then pop himself. Murder suicide at all-time high in America. Why are people killing their families? Because they want to go and they want to bring their family with them. And this is heavy among Esau and some of the other nations. You ain't doing too good, you're depressed, you ain't going by yourself. So I went to Google. Let me see something. I went to Google and I put in murder suicides, and they said that every year is about 600 to 1,000 murder suicides that take place all over the country. But as you can see, it said murder suicide at all-time high in where? In Babylon. Why are people killing their family? It's easy. It's easy. They lost their job. This happened. Their wife cheated on them. They're just plain depressed. Having a good job, making good money can take you out of depression, man. So come on, let me come back over here. Where am I? And see, this is something that vocab doesn't want to deal with, but he's going to be forced to deal with. The only hope he has is that he's an Israelite. I think I lost that. Nah. Where the hell? Anyway, let me do this. Give me another second, please. I'm back. Please forgive me. So this is an important verse because everything that we went through in the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy is going to come on these people. They're going to be nobodies. They're going to be bound down to us. They're going to be working in the field. And that's a fact. Let me read a couple more verses. I may just read the whole thing. Let's see. Good to go into breakdowns. But you saw, they said the murder suicide. This guy, when the guy kills the family, the mother, the wife, the children, 3, 4 in the morning, then he kills himself. That's a tragedy. And then you come to find out his wife was cheating on him, stepping out on him, or he lost a major job. They feeling like Jake now. They feeling like Jake feel. And Jake is coming up. Jake is coming up. Jake is not trying to measure up to the white. See, white man, I can get a job. Jake is just getting a job and doing things for themselves, man. Jake's beginning to do good. It says, 8th verse, and thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord Yahweh and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. Now, why are they going to do all the commandments? Because that's the new covenant, the New Testament. Which you have certain people that say, well, it's already here. No, it's not fully here. You know, the Lord came down and he sealed it with himself by being a sacrificial lamb, but that's going to fully come into effect when the destruction comes and when we're delivered. We're going to be changed in a moment and a twinkling of an eye at the last trump. The trump number 7 represents the Armageddon, the Third World War. The end of this man's system. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. 9th verse, let's see what the 9th verse says. And the Lord thy power, Yahweh, will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand. That's not talking about now. You got Jakes that are homeless. You got Jakes that are suffering terminal sicknesses, cancer. You got Jakes with their legs chopped off, feet cut off, fingers missing, hands and all that, blind, suffering from all manner of diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart conditions, strokes. And partially that's because Jake don't eat. They don't eat right. They don't eat right. They don't know how to heal themselves with food. Food is supposed to rejuvenate you, restore you. The word restaurant means to restore. It's a place where you restore yourself. You're famished, you go to a restaurant. Restaurant means to restore yourself. Esau came to Jacob, right? And Jacob was that restaurant for him. He said, okay, yeah, you can get this pottage, you can get this meal, but you're gonna have to give up, so you have to pay me for it. So he supplanted them. So what? So what? It was all set up in the spirit any damn way. It says, 9th verse, and Yahweh the Most High will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand. That's going to happen in the kingdom. Anything that we do, we're going to be like King Midas. Everything that we touch turn into gold. And in the fruit of thy body, and where the fruit of your body going to come from? They're going to come from the ones. That's what is that in Deuteronomy? I believe that's either 9 and 5 or 5 and 9. I think it's 5 and 9, but I normally go to Exodus 20 verse 5, 4 and 5. It says it speaks about whatever evil that you do according to the law, you're going to pay for it through your sons in the 3rd and 4th generation. That means this. If you on the scene, right, you here, you're one generation. Your father represents the second generation, another generation. His father, which is your grandfather, represents the 3rd generation. And then his father represents your great grandfather, which is the 4th generation. So how often do you come back? Every 3 or 4 generations. So the fact that when the Lord cursed us out in the wilderness, he was talking about that generation. We are that generation. You have a series of 4 generations, then you have a series of 14s. That's in Matthew 1, and then you have 42 generations. So they keep coming back. They keep coming back. They keep coming back. Every person that you see on the planet Earth, the Israelites, even among the nations, they were here before. Everything is reincarnated. You might meet a woman and felt like you knew in another life. Well, she was probably your wife in another life. And see, this is something that vocab vocab Cologne, vocab Malone can't understand because he's the Edomite until he proves otherwise. We read that again, 9th verse. And the Lord thy power will make thee plenteous, that's the kingdom, and every work of thine hand, that's the kingdom. Everything that you do is going to turn out right. Just nothing but blessings, nothing but blessings. When you come before another nation, they're going to bow down to you. It says, in the fruit of thy body, your children, and which were your foreparents, in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land. So that now see, in the church, the Christian church, they teach you about heaven being up in the sky. Heaven is really the 4th dimension, but heaven's going to be on earth. That's Revelation 21 for good. For the Lord Yahweh will again rejoice over thee for good. That's in the kingdom. As he rejoiced over thy fathers. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes which are written in this book of the law, and if thou turn unto the Lord thy power Yahweh with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Now it says, if you do all these things, right? Well, when are we going to do it? When the kingdom comes. We're trying to keep the laws to the best of our ability. Are we going to keep all the laws perfectly? No, we're not in a position to keep the laws perfectly. How many of you keep a perfect Passover? A perfect Passover means you have to own a farm and you have to grow cattle and you're going to have to grow and you have to raise sheep. And you're going to have to say, okay, this sheep was born on this date of Passover last year. So a year from now, you got to separate the sheep that have brown spots or black spots. You got to get a white sheep. The scriptures say from the sheep or from the goats. And that's some good food. Goat meat is good meat. And so you mark him. You mark him. You say, okay, he was born on this date on the Passover. So next Passover, you're gonna be the meal. You're gonna sacrifice him, and then you're gonna eat him. And that's gonna take place in the kingdom. We're gonna have Passover in the kingdom, but we're gonna have a new high holy day to commemorate the downfall of the second Egypt. That's in Jeremiah. It said, for this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. So, we have dealt with these black consciousness individuals, Sarnetta and them cats. It's a waste of time, brother, because they're not going to get it. The scriptures speak about seared with a hot iron. So anything outside of that is just entertainment. Captain Tazarek, he does these different debates. It's pointless. Now he does it. That's something that he does. That he does. But it's really pointless for them. Now it might be a good thing for others that see it to come into this thing. But basically, you have one side go with the Kemetic guy, and the other guy, other people, they go with the Israelite. And then at the end of the day, the Kemetic people gonna say, well, he won. Israel's gonna say, well, he won. It's just entertainment. That's all it is. It's just entertainment. It's just another way of pushing out that word, which we don't do because this is not a game with us, man. We trying to save souls out here of the elect, of the elect. 12 verse. Let's see what the 12 verse says. It is not in heaven that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. Neither is it beyond the sea. That's talking about the law, statutes, and commandments, and the truth. Nobody went out of space and got it. It's right here. It's given to you. The Most High gave it to Moses, and Moses gave it to you. All you got to do is follow it. And then in the kingdom, we're going to follow it perfectly because the Most High is going to program us to follow it. This guy, Vocab Malone, he was going back and forth with this guy from, what is their name? True Nation of Israel, which they go off on a lot of things. I believe they stem from somebody from One West, but they don't believe in the 12 tribes chart. What else? Reincarnation, I don't know if they believe in that. But you got a lot of these groups that stemmed from, that followed the former One Westers that kind of take things from one group and others, and no, we're not going to deal with that. The 12 tribes we're not going to deal with. The 12 tribes, you got to deal with the 12 tribes because that's a fulfillment of Ezekiel 37, as I said before. It says 13 verse, neither is it beyond the sea that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us that we may hear it and do it. That's talking about the laws. No, because it's going to be ultimately the fulfillment of the new covenant is when the Most High changes you, and that's going to start the first ones that's going to experience the new covenant, meaning keep the laws perfectly and be in perfect tune with the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, are the elect that are delivered up. And our whole body's going to change. We're going to be half human, so to speak, and half angelic. We're going to be extraterrestrial. We're going to be supermen and superwomen. Our women are going to be super. Our children are going to be super. Because a child can play with these wild animals, and wild animals ain't going to mess with them. It says, but the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, thy mind, that thou mayest do it. And like I said, you can't do it. You can try to do it, but you can only go so far. You're gonna mess up. You sin in your mind. We're not perfect. We're damn sure not perfect. But in the kingdom of heaven, we will be perfect beings with spiritual power. We can read minds. We are special people, as the scripture says. And this is why these people, they want to be us. That's why you got the ADL, and you got the Southern Poverty Law Center that call us a hate group. No, we're a love group. We love the fact that we're Israelites. We love the Most High. We love each other. And if you want to look at a hate group, everybody's a hate group. Does the Catholic love Islamic person? And you had wars over religions. You had history of religious wars, man. During the time of Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, who they were going against? They were going against the people that are part of the Byzantine Empire. The scholars call them, which were our people, our foreparents. They also went against the Moors, which are our people. And for your information, not all Moors were Islamic. They didn't embrace Islam necessarily. Some of them kept the law, statutes, and commandments, and they knew that they were Israelites. They were keeping the laws that the Most High gave to Israel because they knew that they were Israelites. So, why did the crown of Spain at that time go against them? Because of their nationality and because of their belief system. During that time period, you had Torquemada. You should do some research on him. He was an instrumental guy as far as the whole history of the Spanish Inquisition. They forced you to follow Christianity, which is Roman Catholicism at that time. And if you didn't follow it, they burn you at the stake. They tortured you. So you didn't have your own choice. Which is not real Christianity any damn way. You can't force somebody to believe this. And this is pretty much what the spirit that Vocab Malone is in. He's in that he's a new modern day Torquemada. You got to get it his way. Okay, see, I've said before this day life and good and death and evil. And that I command thee this day to love thy power to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, the Most High, to walk in his ways and keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply, and the Lord Yahweh, thy power, shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. Now, the Most High was setting us up for a fall because he knew we were going to break the law, statutes, and commandments. He knew that we were going to go into captivity. Why? Because the Most High made us go off. The Most High subject us unto vanity, not willingly. Not willingly. That's why the scripture goes in Romans 8. It goes on that may be subject in the same of hope, merely paraphrasing. So we're hoping that the Most High forgive us. So it doesn't make any sense for anybody to teach that if you ain't right with the Most High and don't keep his laws, you're going to ultimately burn in hell. First of all, there's no eternal hell for anybody. And why would the Most High send his own people to hell when he set them up to fall anyway? This guy, Vocab Malone, was going back and forth with this dude from the true nation of Israel. And he said that he was asking the guy about a saint. So he said, is Judas Iscariot a saint? I said, yeah, he is a saint. I did a video one. I said, yes, Judas Iscariot is a saint. He just did a wicked act. The King Saul is a saint. All Israelites are saints. Their spirits are spirits of saints. Saints just mean holy. Even though they're doing wicked, they're still the saints. But they're going to have to pay for what they did when they come back in reincarnation in a new body. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away, right? How has our people been drawn away? They're following the Kemetic lifestyle, various forms of Christianity. You got Jake out there, Jake men that dress up like women that get their plumbing changed. You got Jake women that dress up like men, get their plumbing changed. You got a lot of their stories on a Christian black woman that are no longer Christians that said they're gonna be witches now. They're joining covens, witch covens. So our people are fucked up in the head. They're messed up in the head. And those people are not gonna make it. But they're not gonna burn in hell forever. The scriptures say, for his mercy endureth forever. The Most High is a merciful power. because Esau's not going to burn in hell forever. They're going into captivity. Then we're going to do away with them, and we don't know. The scripture doesn't tell you how they're going to come back. It says, but shall I'm sorry, let me read the 17 from the top. But if thine heart, which is mine, turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away. Now, why would you be drawn away if you're an Israelite in the first place? Because the Most High gave you a spirit to be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them. And that's what Jake did. That's what Jake is doing right now. I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, but you're going to come back. You always come back. And that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land, whether thou passeth over Jordan to go to possess it. That land is currently Palestine. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. So what do we choose? We chose death. Why do we choose death? Because the Most High programmed us to choose death, and to choose death and evil. Because the scriptures say man and woman's, how's it go? Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? John the Baptist, he was said he had to do the truth. And by the way, contrary to what the ISUPK teaches, that John the Baptist fell out the truth. John the Baptist did not fall out the truth. John the Baptist was a forerunner for Yahushua, which was Elijah in the past life. Which that's John. I mean, that's Abba Bibbins. I'll say it right, so vocab don't get mad. We found out it's Bibbins. See, these guys are going off. It's Bibbins, not Bivens. We call him Abba. Abba is John the Baptist, if you can receive it. That's what the Lord said. And if you can receive it, this John is Elijah, which is forth to come, or which is forth to come. And that's an easy topic. That's an easy subject. The subject of reincarnation is easy. But guess what? None of you Christians can get it, because the Most High is not dealing with y'all. Our last verse, and I'll get ready to close. I wanted to go into other topics, but the Spirit had me go into this breakdown, which is good. It says that thou mayest love thy power, the Most High. And so for the ones of you that are thinking you keeping the laws because you discipline yourself to keep the laws, what's the scripture say that? Mortify thy members in Romans the 8th chapter. But are you going to keep all the laws perfectly? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. So the IUIC telling you to keep the laws, that's a good thing. Because even the Lord said that, Matthew's the 23rd chapter, it says, do as they say, but not as they do. For they say do and do not. So when they're pushing that law stuff, there's a lot of laws that they're breaking. They're not keeping. It said that thou mayest love thy power, the Most High, thy Most High, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him. Now, cleave unto him is talking about what? When you go to Isaiah 14, it speaks about the strangers cleaving unto Jacob. That's talking about Israelites cleaving unto Jacob. You come into this truth and you stay in this truth. You cleave unto this truth through what? Teachers, which are men. Unto him, for he is thy life and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord thy power swear unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give him. Now I want to close on this. Let me do this. Come over here. Bear me for a minute. Okay, where did I put this? Okay, right here. This is from a comment, and I left the comment up. It's right here. Yeah, there's more comments up there. Okay, this is a guy by the name of Called and Chosen. So, because I did the video that I did, Yahweh Shai means he delivered or he saves, not Yahweh saves. So this guy, this individual, called and chosen, which he's not, because if he was, he'd be doing the work. Matter of fact, let me show you something. First thing you do, if it's an off, if it's an off comment to you, okay, it says about. He's been up since, we're talking 10 years, September of 2013, 10 years. No videos, no channels, well, channels that he subscribed to, which happened to be one of mine. He got the House of Consciousness, and then players, no players. So now let's come back over here. So let's say, oh, that guy makes a lot of sense. I'm going to follow this guy called and chosen. Well, when you go to the videos, you have nothing. Only six subscribers, no videos. 10 years. So it says, he's right though, elder. The word Jesus, or better yet, Joshua, does mean Jehovah or Yahweh is salvation, which is clearly wrong. The Joe or Jah in Joshua is Yah in the Hebrew, which an abbreviation of Yahweh, just like the name Zephaniah, the IAH at the end. See, that's clearly off, clearly off, clearly off. And I explained it in the video. He said, peace to you, elder. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. In other words, I want to correct you. You got it wrong in a respectful way. You're wrong, Apostle Tahar. So I left it up there. And then you have people, the scriptures speak about least ye be wise in your own conceit. Least ye be wise in your own conceit. So you can't tell this guy nothing. GMS Truth Told 144. How do you say salvation in Hebrew? And then how do you say he salvation? Okay. So this man is answering back to this one, GMS Truth Told 144. Truth Told 144. There are a few ways you can say salvation. You can say what is it, Tesua, whatever that is, Yeshua, Hosea, etc. He salvation or he saves is who. There's no who in the Hebrew. H-U, Yeshua. See now, if you didn't know these scriptures and you didn't know the Hebrew, you would be taken by this guy. So he's clearly off. And like I said, I clicked on his page and there's no, he set up a page 10 years ago, not one video, not one video. So like I said, I could have took him down, but I said, I'll leave it up. But you see these brothers coming on the comment board. And when you watch the video, I broke it down the correct way. Even the blue letter goes off on that. The word Yahushai is he delivered or he salvation. It's not short for Yahweh's name. Let me do this and then I'm going to close and just put in Jesus. Jesus. So even the angel broke it down. Thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he, which is the Yah, shall save, which is the Hawashai. He and save. Yah Hawashai. Not even went off on that because they added the wad to it. It says Yah, Yahweh. So they say that this is the name of the Most High. Shawai. Let me break it up. Variant spellings for this word, Yahweh, because they're saying that this is the name of the Most High. Do it again. So they're saying Yahweh, which is the name of the Most High, and Shawai means saved. Matter of fact, let me do this. So you have it over here, Strong's, Yahweh Shai. So they clearly went off on that. See right here, Yahweh, Shai. That's not it. That's clearly not it. Because the angel said it. It said, you shall call his name Yahweh Shai, for he, Yah, shall save Hawashai, his people. The angel broke it down. Just like the angel broke down Israel. Genesis 32, verse 28. And he said, thy name, this is the angel talking to Jacob, Yaquab, thy name shall be called no more Yaquab or Jacob, but Israel. Then he breaks it down. For as a prince have thou power with God. So the Yah in Israel is he, Shah is prince, and God is Allah or El. They say El, but it's Allah. The Lord said, Allah Yah, why have thou forsaken me? So what did the Lord say on the cross? He said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? He didn't call on the name of the Father. He said, my God, like you can call your father by name, or you can say, my father, or Papa, whatever. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say Shalom.